Yo, what's up? Welcome to the Chill Vibes podcast with your host Jordan and your co-host Pate, where we talk sports without the clickbait. Now, with that being said, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Chill V Podcast, where we have all our links to our social media in our bio. And also, if you have some recommendations for topics, email us at chillvibesports at gmail.com. And with that being
Chill
said,
vibes, chill vibes sports pod at Gmail.
I always mess it up, I swear. But yeah, with
No,
that
you
be
good. You good.
with
That's a
all that
tough
big
one. That's why we got it recorded.
facts. And like I said, with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get right into it.
And well, give me just 1 second. I'm gonna go ahead and tell everybody that last week we had a little bit of technical difficulty. We had to cut it off a little early. But we do appreciate everybody that gives us a listen.
Correct.
And like he
Yep.
said, if you want us to talk about something specific, we both have the email on our phone, so just hit that email up and we will talk about it the next week.
Heck yeah, definitely.
So
Yeah,
we can go ahead
definitely
and
shout
jump
out to
right
all
in.
the listeners out there from the past episode. Much appreciated for sure.
Way more than I thought it was going to be, which is really good. It's really impressive. That we reached a lot of people so far, actually, so it's really good.
Oh yeah, for sure,
Proud of you.
man.
All right, so we'll go ahead and jump straight in. We're going to start on the NFC side today, and we're going to start with the biggest question marks in football with the Packers 49ers game. Coming into this game on Saturday, Jordan, did you really give the 49ers a chance, or were they playing good enough these past couple weeks that you thought they could hold their own against the Packers this weekend?
Honestly, I did not. But also, okay, I also did have the same thought of depending on how Jimmy G plays, which he still played absolutely terrible in this game.
He did. He
Depending on
did.
how he played, the outcome of the game will be depending on him, which it was the total opposite. It was the defense and the special teams that really showed out here in this game here that ultimately prevailed them to the win. So I did not expect this dub like this in Lambeau. I was like, no way Jimmy Garoppolo goes into Lambeau and beats Aaron Rodgers on prime time,
That's,
which he
that's
didn't.
interesting you say that.
Which
Well,
he didn't. The
yeah, he
defense
didn't. Yeah, yeah, the defense and the special teams beat him. Jimmy G was just there to spectate, as it looked
exactly
like, with his 131 yards and an interception.
correct.
But I don't know. I don't. I'm not the. I think the Packers, they can be beat. They've been beat in all these playoffs recently. I mean, they haven't been to the Super Bowl in a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, the 49ers, they played a couple good teams to get where they are right now. They had to beat the
Correct.
Rams to get in the playoffs. They won last week. So then you put them here in Green Bay, and Green Bay had a week off. That's a week. I mean, a lot of people, it's good to have the rest off, but, sometimes that throws you out of the groove. I mean, you might have had your bye week in week 7, and you've been playing for 10 straight weeks. You're used to getting out there and playing every week, and then you have a week off, and you don't know what to do.
Exactly. Because like I said, we can also argue the fact that Aaron Rodgers could honestly have possibly 3 Super Bowl rings right now. If it wasn't for Seattle, that stupid onside kick. I mean, I praise still my
Yes.
Seahawks though. I love my boys, but
Yeah.
still, like, what the heck? That he should have went to Super Bowl that year. What was it? Last year against Brady. Should have went that year. And this year I felt
Yeah,
like,
he
oh
should
my,
have. It's true.
this year here was the year for sure. Man, everybody had to go through Lambeau, so
Yep.
I felt good with their chances of making the Super Bowl. I wouldn't say winning, but making the Super Bowl. They had like 3 shots at it, so
Or just perform better. I mean, that's what I was going to get into also is, I mean, the, I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers only put up 10 points in a home playoff game. I mean, and
Jesus.
maybe you can say like the 49ers, oh, they're from California, they only put up 13 points. It's because of the weather. Green
Yes.
Bay has been in Green Bay since they've been a football team. So, I mean, you can't blame it on weather. It's just up to Aaron Rodgers couldn't beat the 49ers defense. And I mean, he put up
That's correct.
225 yards. Aaron Jones only rushed for 41, but he also caught for 129. So he has his playmakers
Yep.
making plays.
Yep.
Devontae Adams, 9 receptions, 90 yards. So
What you
that's
look
just a
at the
tough one.
stats and the blueprint to this game for them to win, honestly, the 49ers just contain Aaron Jones. Well, mainly contain Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones, because as we saw during that game, literally the other receiver supporting cast, Alan Lazard, 1 reception, 6 yards. Mercedes Lewis, 1 reception, 0 yards.
Yeah.
Literally, he was only throwing to basically 2 people. You might as well say.
Yeah. I mean, he had 20, he threw 20 completed passes, and only 2 of them were not to Aaron Jones and Devontae Adams for
Exactly.
6 yards. So that, I mean, but you got to sit there and say the Devontae Adams and the Aaron Jones, they are the 2 of the most hyped players in the league besides Aaron Rodgers. I mean, he has 2 weapons. Quarterbacks have won championships with 2 weapons before. I mean, it's tough. I mean, he did have 5 sacks on him. That's hard to get around. Of course, the offensive line has to help him out a little bit better than that. He had a 91.9 quarterback percentage rate. I mean, he tried, but it's just that thing where he just can't always push his team over the top to do what they have to do.
Yeah, that is for sure, man. Because
Um,
like I said, man, and I really do feel like the turning point in this game was definitely when Mercedes Lewis fumbled. Just like Aaron Rodgers,
mm.
just like completely just went to sleep, man. It's like nothing else happened after that, man. It's like wow.
You are completely right. And then let me see. In the Because with 3 minutes left, the 49ers started on their own 29, and that's
Yes.
what started them down the field. And I mean, you got to say, I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo helped them get down the field. I mean, he only completed 2 passes, but I mean, there were ones to get them started off and then run the ball. And then, you have to say the Packers have to respect Jimmy Garoppolo a little bit, because if they didn't think he could throw the ball, they would just
Yes.
blitz and neutralize Deebo Samuel.
Which,
So
yeah,
there is
honestly,
a little bit of respect there for Jimmy Garoppolo.
exactly. Because in the beginning of the game, honestly, too, I mean, the 49ers could have had more points on the board as far as offensively, because I don't know if you saw, but in the beginning of the game, George Kittle dropped a wide open pass up the middle. Um,
Mm.
Jawan Jennings dropped a crucial 3rd down catch. Like the opportunities was there in the beginning, because Jimmy Garoppolo in the beginning was looking really good, man. He was hitting all his throws, but nobody was catching him. So, you know, credit to him. It's just that stupid interception he had at the end just makes me think he got him all the way down there to the red zone. He has that stupid interception. I'm like, you idiot. What are you
That is very true. That is very true. I mean, now he's in the NFC Conference Championship game.
Yep.
Whether he played like he wanted to be there or not, he's there. Um,
Exactly.
so that'll be an interesting game next week. We'll talk about that later in the week in another podcast. We won't get into next week's games just yet.
Oh yeah, save it for special.
Yeah, we're gonna save them. But before we keep on going, I do want to see, do the Packers just have it a little bit too easy in their division to be these God beaters that everybody says that they are?
I mean, yeah, I mean, you look at their division. Division is pretty much a weak division. I mean, they literally the only teams that they have to really worry about in that division is just the Vikings. Honestly, like I'm not
Yeah, they
scared of
finished under 500.
correct, and I'm not really scared of Detroit or Chicago. I mean, when Chicago gets their stuff together, okay, that'll be a real threat. But I mean, I'm not really scared of the other 2 teams. Honestly,
And
if
then
I'm
even the
the
Vikings, you
Packers,
can't really be too scared
yeah,
about them. And
exactly.
I mean, the Vikings are a good team. They could walk out there and they could beat almost any team on any given day if Kirk
Oh yeah,
Cousins decides to play football. But that's just, I mean, you got to start thinking. I mean, because the Packers, what were they? They were 13-3 last year,
hmm
13-4 this year. I mean, and Aaron Rodgers, I know, made the comment last year about how they were 13-3 and didn't get any love for it. Well, he showed them why they didn't get any love last year. They came into this year, got a lot more love, and then they get knocked out in their first game. I mean,
yep.
I mean, we'll get
I
into Aaron
almost feel
Rodgers.
for him, man. I swear, I almost feel for the
We'll get
guy.
into Aaron Rodgers. We'll get into him a little bit more in just a little bit. and what I think about how they play. But as far as the actual game goes, the 49ers, they didn't have many rushing yards in this game, especially playing in that Lambeau cold. Did that surprise you at all? I mean, just trying to add it up really quick in my head. They had 53, 39, and 14.
Yeah.
Puts them, I
So
think,
they
at
had a total of
107.
106. Yeah,
Yeah,
106. They had a
106.
total. Well, coming to the game, the Packers defensive line is stout up front, so I wasn't too surprised by that there because that's their identity. So as the Packers, I know we're going to be pretty much trying to sell out on the run and defend the pass as good as possible because that's the 49ers identity is around the football. Kyle Shanahan, so wasn't
Yeah.
too surprised about the only 106 yards on the ground. So yeah, but what I was surprised about was just like, I was just really surprised about the receiving. Like I said, they could have had so much. The 49ers receivers could have went off so much better than what they did because, well, of the missed drops. That's really because they only ended with a team high 11 receptions and 131 yards. So, drops.
Yeah, that's very true. And about like we talked about a little bit earlier, I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he did target 7 different receivers, only 2 that really made a difference. But these other guys, I mean, you're looking at 1 target, 1 target, 2 targets, 1 target, 1 target. I mean, do you think that it was a bad game plan on their part for not including these Lazards and Lewises and Randall Cobbs in a little bit
I just
more?
tell you
So
what
that,
it is. I mean, them boys just can't get open, man. Like that goes to show. I mean, Aaron Jones. I mean, he's getting all his yardage coming out the backfield, swing routes, option
and then
routes. And Devontae Adams. I mean, no one can't
yeah,
guard the
9
man. So
receptions. Yeah, 9 receptions, 90 yards is probably his base stat line for
it got you. And then you
most
got Alan
games. So
Lazard, which is I don't know where he even was at during the game. I don't know what he was doing, but
yeah, that was a little surprising. He's been. I mean, I thought he played pretty well this season to be where he's at.
yeah,
I mean, he's got to stand opposite to Devontae Adams, so
correct.
he
I would
definitely
expect.
took advantage of the fact that they're going to double team Devontae Adams, and he got open a lot. I mean, you have to give him credit. And it's really weird that he only got 1 target, 1 reception.
Yeah, for sure. Because like I said, I totally expect a lot different from here. Because after looking at this receiving and this target share, it's like, geez, it's what a drop off.
Yeah, it's surprising. Yeah, that is very, very surprising. I mean, if you think about it, there was 21 plays ran through Aaron Jones. I mean, he had 12 rushes and 9 receptions. I mean, that was a lot of their offense going through there, and he did what he could. Obviously, it being a little colder out, they stacked up on the run a little bit more, and he only got 41 yards rushing, but can't really blame him. I mean, he did what he could for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. That is definitely true.
All right, well, I think we covered the actual game part of that pretty good. I mean, in a 10-13 game, there is not a lot to cover. I mean,
Not really.
where a block punt wins you the game or gets you tied up with the game. I mean, that's saying a lot. There's not a lot of offense there to talk about. And besides that, actually, too, I forgot about this. Travis Kelce had more touchdown passes through one game than Aaron Rodgers did this postseason.
Which is kind of like it's really crazy.
Yeah, I mean, really crazy. I mean, just think that Aaron Rodgers is this big arm. He couldn't connect 1 touchdown pass in the playoffs. I mean, you watched a little bit more of the game than I did. Was it just that when they got down in the red zone, did they get stalled out a little bit more?
Well,
Or
it's
was
just
it
that 49ers front was really getting to him and causing pressure. And then, like I said, it comes to supporting cast if receivers just can get open. That's really all it comes down to, really,
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. But the big question of the week is not how the game went. It's going to be about Aaron Rodgers' future with the Packers. I mean, I would just ask you straight up about it. Do you think he is going to be there next season?
Personally, I don't think he's going to go. I mean, I don't think he's going to stay there next season. And I know too, same with Devontae Adams. I mean, they're kind of a package deal. So wherever he does, if he does decide to go anywhere, there'll definitely be a package deal between the two. Because like I said, I just don't see him, staying in that situation. I mean, heck, Green Bay is going to be over the cap like tremendously next year.
Yeah,
As far as
you're
the cap
very, very
goes.
right about that. Yeah,
So
they will be definitely over that cap.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, honestly, I could see them, just a quick team. I feel like them two would thrive on. If they was on the team together, I got two teams in my. I got the Broncos. I got three: the Broncos and Saints and the Dolphins.
Okay, Saints and
So
Dolphins.
you
You're
know,
talking about doing these through trades. I mean,
yeah, trade.
who
Well, trades
who
and
do you
just.
think?
I mean, out of those
Mhm.
three, the team that can obviously can package both of the two together is the Dolphins. I
Yeah,
think they
that's what I was
have like
getting at.
over 58 million in cap this year, so they could definitely get the two in the package deal for sure, and get rid of two
Yeah,
ass.
yeah. I mean, you're right. Yeah, I mean, that's what I was going to say was, I mean, who do you think is best suited to be able to trade for that package? And I was going to say the Dolphins. I mean,
Yes.
they've got a lot of younger guys that they could send to the Packers that I'm sure the Packers would be interested in. They like certain players that do certain things that are young.
Correct.
How Tua plays in Green Bay, I don't know. I don't know how you would
Yeah,
do
that
that.
there won't be good.
That's very true. But so I mean, even if they didn't package Devontae Adams in there, would you still put those same three teams up there, or would it
Um,
maybe change a little
yeah, I
bit?
mean, he could still go to the Broncos and do pretty good to me. He's got a good supporting cast receivers over there, Tim Patrick and Cortland Sutton and Jerry Judy. So I mean, the
Yeah,
weapons
I
are
mean, I
there.
think
They
that's a
just don't
good
got a
thing.
quarterback there.
Yeah, I mean, they don't trust. I don't think they trust any of their quarterbacks they got on that roster. I was going to say, I mean, of the three you said, I think the Saints might have paid a little much for Winston for them to go ahead and trade him after one injured year.
Which they're
But the
over the cap.
Broncos, yeah. So they can't afford that at all. But actually, I mean, I would say the most interesting of all those would be the Broncos. I mean, that'd be. I don't know if the Broncos have that um, muscle in them to go and do like a big trade for something that they want because they've
Mhm.
been without a quarterback since Peyton Manning left. I mean,
Yeah.
they've had opportunities, I'm sure, to put trades in for big name quarterbacks, and they just haven't done it. But if Rodgers doesn't want to be there, I can see where they might get on their horse and want to go ahead and trade for somebody big where they can have him for the next 3, 4, 5 years, maybe if he wants to play that long,
I could
or
definitely see
even
that.
just short term. I mean, to have Aaron Rodgers there for 2 years, 3 years, at least you're looking through the draft for quarterbacks that you want for 2 or 3 years instead of scrambling, signing Teddy Bridgewater, forcing Drew Lock to play. I like the Broncos as a good suitor for him.
Yeah, like I said, that's one of my sleeper teams right there, really, to get him
And then
for
they have
sure.
some expendable picks. I mean, they have a lot of young players on that team. That team is really, really young,
Yeah,
and they've got to be well under the cap on all those rookie contracts. And
yeah,
they just got out from under and they got out from under the Von Miller contract.
yeah.
So,
So
I
they're set
mean,
up pretty
they've got
good.
to have a lot of money. If they had to give up a couple picks, they would have plenty of money to go out in free agency and sign whoever they needed just to fill like a role spot.
Exactly.
Because between the three wide receivers, they're locked up for a little while. They've got Noah Fant.
Forgot about
Melvin
him too.
Gordon's locked up. Yeah, I mean that's four young people that are set up outside that I think are going to be really good.
Exactly, man. Yeah, sure, for sure.
Um, do you? I mean, that's what I was getting into also earlier when I was saying, do you think Aaron Rodgers deserves the amount of love he gets? Because I'm not going to, like we say at the top of the show, we're not talking sports for clickbait. He's a top quarterback, but
Oh,
when they throw his name out there with Brady, Manning, all those people, I just don't see it.
yeah. I mean, either
I mean, I think
I don't. Yeah, you have people saying he's the second
there are people
greatest
saying he's
quarterback
better than
all time.
Brady.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't see it. I'm like,
I mean,
nah.
if I'm going to be honest with you, I think that the best, I mean, he's not even the best one Super Bowl quarterback there ever was. I mean, there's a lot of other people that, Drew Brees, for instance, who just retired and apparently fell off the face of the earth. He was, I mean, he's got the same number of rings as Rodgers has, and he was he did a lot stat wise in his career to be out for so long with that shoulder injury.
Correct. And possibly it should have went to a few back-to-back NFC Championship games. I mean, Super Bowls. It wasn't for those calls there at the end with the Rams. We're gonna get into that later.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. I mean, he should have been right there in the Super Bowl, and I think he could have competed pretty well against Brady in that Super Bowl.
Minneapolis Miracle. That
Miracle.
I'm like, what the freak? But yeah, man.
Yep, he had a lot of playoffs ended not because of him. I think Aaron Rodgers is a top quarterback. I mean, it's hard to put numbers on him. I mean, that's really tough when you have really, really good quarterbacks like we saw in the game last night or Tom Brady. I mean, that Stephen A., he's a bad man type stuff. I don't understand it because he doesn't say that for all the quarterbacks that are better than him,
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. For sure. But now, man, I'm ready. Honestly, I'm ready to get into now, man. I'm ready to get into the Rams and Bucs, though.
I know it.
I'm
Man,
ready for
I got to tell you, I thought I pulled a muscle in my hand, fist pumping so hard in the air. That was a crazy last 30 seconds.
Yes. Why on earth would Todd Bowles call a zero blitz, leaving Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr., essentially 101? I'm like, what?
Yeah, that was a bad. I mean, you'd almost have to say that was a miscommunication because Todd Bowles has been doing a lot better than that for his whole career. Exactly. But I mean, if he did call it, I mean, he knows who's there. Cooper Kupp was there the whole game. He lines up in the slot every time, and you got to sit there and say, clock down to 20 odd seconds, and they're on the opposite end of the 50-yard line. We got to make a play, and you know who the guy is. So
yeah. Honestly, I'm playing cover 4 defense, rushing 4, and I feel good about my 4 getting home to Stafford. But still, I would never. Yeah, I couldn't do that zero blitz.
Yeah, that's one of the things where you have to play back a little bit. Where people say like, well, prevent defense is how people score. Yes. I mean, every once in a while they actually score. For the most part, they throw it in the middle of the field and they got to go up there and clock it.
Yep.
I mean, Matt Gay, he missed a field goal short from 42 yards or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all you got to do is just keep us on right there at the 50-yard line, maybe just a little bit further. It's not like we got Justin Tucker out there where we can put the ball on the 50 and he'll probably make it. I mean,
yeah, man.
You just got to play prevent. Let him throw it in the middle of the field. We didn't have any timeouts left. Maybe stand over the ball a little bit while they're trying to get everybody set. There's a lot better ways to do that than try to blitz Matt Stafford and that offensive line playing so good the whole day.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Did anybody really stand out to you besides the obvious Cooper Kupp in the game?
One person that's starting to show out, really catch my eye, even though he had that crucial fumble at the end, is Cam Akers, and also too, Tyler Higbee. Like, dude is starting to those two are really starting to catch my eye, and Cam Akers in particular, because if you would have told me, number 23 tore his Achilles 6 months ago,
5-6 months ago,
I'm like, what? Ain't no way.
At the playoff level.
Like, my boy is looking like he's looking like explosive. Like, dude is like, wow, that's just amazing, man, for sure.
Yeah, and you look at the stat lines, he rushed 24 times for 48 yards, but the thing about that is, I was about to say, that's about average for whenever you're playing against the Buccaneers. They do not allow rushing yards. I mean, say you were playing fantasy, if your running back is playing the Buccaneers, you are upset for that week. They do not allow anything.
I almost lost my prop bet for that one. I had him pick for over 45 rushing yards, man. I was like, man. I was like, Jesus.
You were a negative runaway.
Exactly.
Exactly. But yeah, I would say, there's Andrew Whitworth obviously didn't play the game with a knee injury, and Noteboom stepped in. And I got to tell you, they did a good job of covering the offensive line. The offensive line held their own against that. Matt Stafford dropped back and threw for 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, and 2 sacks.
And that was the key to the game. Like I said, Matt Stafford, when he gets in these playoffs, he can't be doing what he did in the regular season. The turnovers, you gotta eliminate those. And we saw
Yep.
what happened. Eliminate the turnovers and play a clean game. Like, dude, the sky's unlimited for these guys. What they can do for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's one of those things, I mean, right there going in halftime, Cam Akers, I'm not going to knock his performance. He did play very well for where he was at.
Yes.
But fumbling on the 1 yard line right there, where we could have went up another touchdown right before
Yes.
halftime and then got the ball back another time. I know I was worrying about the game when we were up 27-3, the most uncomfortable 24-point lead of all time. Um, but you got to sit there and say if we had went ahead and put up 7 more points right there, and then
Yeah.
came right back out, I think we probably would have had the momentum, scored another touchdown, maybe a field goal. I think that would have been a lot bigger, a lot different game. Obviously, the Cam Akers other fumble and the Cooper Cup fumble.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah,
we
which
still
I
won
was
after
like,
those.
that's why I knew something
We
was up
still
with this
won.
game. I was like, Cooper cut this fumble, really. I like my man's the
Yeah,
most reliable receiver out on the field right now. The dude
yeah,
just
he had
fumbled. I was
the
like,
most
okay,
receptions in the league, no fumble. But
yep,
right when it counted, of course, they had to go ahead and do one like that. Um,
exactly.
Let me see. So, did this game, and of course the Bills Chiefs game, did it mean a little bit more to these people when they sat there and had the number one seeds lose the day before, knowing that
Yeah,
you're
I
not
mean,
going to have to go to Green Bay, you're not going to have to go to Tennessee if you're talking
heck yeah,
Bills
that would
Chiefs?
have boosted my confidence like tremendously if I'm in the NFC and I'm like, oh man, I ain't got to go to Green Bay and freeze my balls off out
Yeah,
there in the
you're definitely
cold.
right. Yeah, either
You
way,
know,
because whoever wins, they're hosting the NFC Championship game. And now, that had to
yes,
light a fire under both teams for sure.
Zach, I get to play in warm, normal weather, so
Yes, both of those teams are in normal weather for sure,
for
and not a
sure.
chance of snow either place.
Yeah.
Um, so when we're talking about points of the game, there's I probably could have done a little bit better making some making some notes about it. But I was so nervous right there at the end of the game that it was tough. Um, Kind of the thing that sparked it off towards that wild last couple minutes um, was that Mike Evans hit. I wanted to know what you thought about that because um, when they were calling the game, they were saying that, oh, if Mike Evans didn't slap the ball straight down and it hit the ground before Weddle hit him, then it would be a different call. But if Mike Evans tips the ball straight up in the air, I mean,
Yeah.
then what penalty are you going to call for him hitting the guy while the ball's in the air after it's been touched?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I look at one of those. That's just one of those, you know, like they say, it's a dead foul play there at the end.
Yeah.
Like I
Mm-hmm.
can't
Yep.
control my momentum running to someone's helmet like that. I'm running full speed.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah. That's
control
so
my
tough.
momentum. But I mean, it was a
That's so
helmet to
tough.
helmet. I know the league's trying to protect players from stuff like that, but still, like I can't kind of slow down. I'm running full speed. I'm playing safety, trying to cover the
Yeah.
sidelines. You know,
No, I mean,
That's
Eric Weddle's 37 years old, but he's got a lot of speed still for those
yeah.
old legs, and
It's like, we
it's
rather me
hard to
hit him in
stop.
the chin like that or hit him in the daggone knee and tear his knee up
Yeah,
like
while
they
he's
did in
standing
college.
still. Yeah, yeah. I mean, this is a really really tough play. I hate when those plays come up in the end of games because you got somebody that basically he was going up for the ball, missed it, and just gave up and stood still. I mean, how often does that happen? Almost
Yeah, I'm
never.
like,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if I'm Eric Weddle, he's just doing his job. Like, he's playing the
yeah.
ball. Like,
And honestly, if you sit back there and look at it when Mike Evans slapped the ball down on the ground, I mean, you're talking about half a second before Eric Weddle hit him. I mean, are you not thinking the sure hands of Mike Evans isn't about to snag that ball on the 2 yard line? I mean, you got to do what you can to defend against that. And I know that's probably since the Bills Chiefs game that kind of got swept under the rug from the media. But whenever that happened, I could see where that was going to be a weird call. Either way, the side of the ball you looked at it, you're going to be questioning what was going on.
exactly. For sure, man.
Um, but I do want to know what you thought about because when I was asking you about did anybody stand out to you, the big player, I mean, almost the MVP of the game for me was Aaron Donald, and I was just wondering how you thought about how his play was.
I mean, Aaron Donald. I mean, it's nothing to say about it, man. He's probably the best defensive player in football. Like, I mean, he does it every year. I mean, it's nothing to say about it, man. Really, it's like he shows up consistently. Because that's the thing, man. With signing him or signing Floyd, and you got Von Miller, and you got like now you don't have to rely on Floyd and Miller. Well, not Miller, but Floyd and Donald to do all the work. I mean, you got three studs up front. Like Donald could do what the heck he wants. Now it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, I mean,
It's
don't
literally
forget, don't forget Ashawn Robinson and Greg Gaines. I mean, those are good role players.
yeah.
I mean, it's hard to. I mean, there's not a lot said about players that do what they're supposed to do day in and day out because for Aaron Donald to do what he does, I mean, he does need a little help from the other people, just a little bit, not much. But he is
Yeah.
doing all this stuff in a 3-4 scheme. So there's two linebackers on the outside. They're just begging people to double team, triple team Aaron Donald on that stuff. And
Yeah,
the
for
way
sure.
he makes an impact in a double team and even triple team sometimes is incredible. I mean, you're definitely right. I mean, he's the best defensive player in football for
Yeah,
sure.
that's what I'm saying. It's really nothing to say about it, man. I mean, it's like, okay,
I
it's
mean, you
like,
almost can't be surprised.
yeah, like this dude's done
He's
everything.
always there.
He's done everything that I've never seen before on a consistent basis. Like, well, that guy's good.
Yeah, yeah. Because even the games that you sit there and have, he may only have a tackle for loss, no sacks. He's got hurries. He's got three people on him, so other people can make plays. I mean, it's just about every single game he's got some stuff going on with
Yeah,
that.
yeah, man, that's
But
for
also too,
sure.
I will say this was probably the worst I've seen Jalen Ramsey play in a Rams uniform so
Yes.
far. Because I've got to tell you, I mean, I think he got a little. I think he lost the ball in the air on that big Mike Evans touchdown.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
you kind of saw him slow up just a little bit right there as the ball was coming in. I think he couldn't see it. But I mean, usually he's everywhere. I mean, have you watched any of the games from this year? If a ball is caught outside, Jalen Ramsey is there almost every time. It seems like
oh yeah,
he's always there. If it's on his side of the field, he will make the tackle, and like it almost like he had trouble tackling Mike Evans at some points.
yeah. I mean, Mike Evans is a.
He's,
I mean, we
he's
must
a big
credit. He
guy.
is a gigantic dude, six
Yeah,
five, probably 230 plus, and so he held his own against. I mean, I know Mike Evans went for 8 receptions and 119 yards and a TD on him, but and
yeah,
another thing
and
too, I know he was matched up on him, tired the whole entire game. But I mean, I got a six
yeah,
five
because
target. I'm throwing the ball at him anything. I don't care who the the cornerback
yeah, I
is.
mean, if you think about it, Jalen Ramsey, I mean, actual tight or one-on-one coverage, I would say that long touchdown was really the only pass that got past
Exactly.
Jalen Ramsey, if you want to say. I mean, there's times where they drop him back into zone and somebody can find themselves underneath him.
Yep. That's pretty much
Like I
all
think
the
Scotty Miller got a couple like that or something. But
yeah. That's pretty much all the passes that was caught previously for the touchdown was just all things that was caught in
short
front of
stuff.
him. Short
Yeah,
passes.
caught in front of him. He was right there. Like I said, Mike Evans caught a couple short ones right there in front of him. And he he didn't look like the sure tackler that he usually always is, which was
Yeah.
weird to see. I don't know if the playing in Tampa Bay in the playoffs might have gotten his head just a little bit. I mean, I mean, still, he's one of the better corners in the league. It was just really weird to see him play like that.
Oh
Um,
yeah. It's
so
definitely like I said, it was something I wasn't accustomed to seeing. Jalen Ramsey
yeah, that
getting
definitely that threw me off. I mean, because
yeah.
especially that first time, he like kind of ran up to Mike Evans and like grabbed his legs and tried to pick him up a little bit like that. That was something that we do not usually see. But we can move right on along to another Rams player here. Is
Mhm.
Cooper Kupp the best wide receiver in the league?
Yeah, I mean, this year he's definitely showed. I mean, like I told people, I feel like he's the best wide receiver in the league this year. I mean, just to see him, and the things he's been able to do, yards after the catch, and his route running is very crisp. No one doesn't pay attention to his route running, but I do. But my man is
Yeah.
crisp on his route running, and I didn't know he was big as what he's been listed. I thought it was like 5'10". I didn't know Cooper Kupp was 6'2". So
Oh yeah, he's not a small guy. I think he might have grown a little bit, but um,
yeah,
for
dude, I was
sure.
like, Cooper Kupp was like, you know, I mean, I know everybody's praising Devontae Adams in Green Bay. Yes, I mean he's obviously a dog in his own, but Cooper Kupp obviously this year had a better year, obviously in my opinion. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to give it
definitely. I mean,
Kupp
he
this year.
what was it, 145 receptions and 1947 yards,
Yes.
16 touchdowns. So he's the triple crown leader, but he was
Yep.
also the yards after catch leader.
Yes.
He's the yak
He was.
yards leader. So I mean, he's almost a. I
Yak
I don't know
machine.
many. Yeah, I don't know many statistics that he got beat in.
None.
Because he was catching the.
Oh, we got some technical difficulties here. Like my boy Pate got freaking booted. See if I can get him back real quick. Let's see here. There we go. We had some technical difficulties here, but he's back.
Sorry about that. I don't know. I was just talking, and all of a sudden I couldn't hear you. I was like, well, "That's weird." It completely kicked me out of the browser. That's odd. But like I was saying, it's not like Cooper Kupp's just catching these little slot balls and running it up down the field. I mean, he's catching deep balls too. I mean, he
Oh yeah.
he really did it all. Um, and you know what? I'm going to say it that if there was anybody that made a case to be the MVP and not be a quarterback, I
Yes,
would say it
Cooper
was Cooper
Kupp
Kupp this year because, like
easily,
you said,
man.
mhm,
Like Aaron Rodgers, he kind of diminished losing like this past weekend. I mean, his MVP odds, in my opinion, is just diminished. Like I
yeah, and Brady
don't.
lost. So I mean,
Yeah.
that was kind of his big competition. But I mean, like you say, I mean, he had all the stats.
Yep.
But also you got to think about how much he blocks for this offense. I mean, because
Yeah.
if you
Yeah.
if
For
you
sure.
watch a Rams game, you are going to hear the color commentator talk about how
His
good of a
blocking,
blocker he
and
is
that's
at
what I
least
said
three
separates
times
him
throughout the
for,
game.
and that separates from him Devontae Adams. This dude here is willing to put his head in there and get dirty, and get physical
Yeah,
with
every
you.
time.
So
And it's not just that that makes him involved in every play that there is.
exactly,
Because if
man.
it's a passing down, because towards the end of the year, the Rams were doing a really, really good job of using Cooper Kupp to get other players open. They would run him on very obvious routes
Yep.
to kind of pull the defense one way, and then we go the other way. So I mean, even balls that he wasn't catching, he was almost responsible for, if you would think about it like that.
Oh yeah, for
Um,
sure, man.
but I mean, I wasn't sure if you would be on that MVP side of it or not. But I mean, if I think this year will prove whether anybody else can win the award.
Oh yeah, for
Almost
sure. 'Cause,
like
I mean,
in
honestly,
college
the
football when
MVP,
Manti Te'o.
like the MVP, in my opinion, if they didn't, well, he didn't lose Aaron Rodgers or Josh Allen, I would have gave MVP too. Definitely Josh Allen. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I mean, the quarterbacks are obviously very, very valuable to the team, but also Cooper Kupp had
yeah,
Robert Woods go down, and he didn't miss a beat. He was right there. I mean, the defenses easily could have thrown, and they probably did a lot more of their efforts towards just Cooper Kupp not having to worry
yeah,
about Robert Woods, and he still prevailed. I mean, those were crazy, crazy numbers to put up to not have a wide receiver opposite side of the field from you to take up some defense.
yeah. I'm like, man, Jared Goff don't know anybody else to throw to but Cooper Cut right now. I'm like, jeez, bro.
Yeah,
It was like, I
and
was
you got
like,
to give Matthew
wow.
Stafford credit. I mean, Matthew Stafford has come over and he has done a very, very, very good job.
Oh yeah, because man,
I
with
mean,
them this year, like I said,
he had
it's a
some
Super
turnover
Bowl or
problems.
bust. Super Bowl or bust for the Rams, man,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah,
You know?
they definitely acted like that was what they wanted. But so far, I mean, but you got to think too that there's a lot of teams that will go out there and do these big trades and then or big signings, and then they just don't turn out to much. You got to give the front office some credit there, where they went out there and they got the pieces that they knew would work. They didn't take chances or short themselves. They said, we wanted Matthew Stafford. They went and got Matthew Stafford. We wanted Jalen Ramsey. We got Jalen Ramsey. We want OBJ.
Oh
We
yeah.
got him. Von Miller. You
Yep.
can keep going.
Like I said, it's
If
the
they
Super
wanted him,
Bowl
they
or
got him.
bust. They want them. They, like I said, I'm like,
Yeah,
they ain't got
you're
no. I
right.
mean, y'all ain't got no draft picks, but it's like y'all always find a way. I swear, every year it's like,
No.
where the money coming from? Boys out here trapping out here.
Yeah. There's always next year's draft picks is what I think they go off of. But talking about Super Bowl or bust, Tom Brady. Um, Obviously, earlier in the week, he made it seem like he might not come back, and then to come out here and lose. Is this the time? Is this Tom Brady last game as a Buck?
I'll just keep it short and sweet. I don't think it is. I'm sorry. Only thing that was honestly missing from this game, which I told people will highly affect him playing against a good defense with a pass rush, is Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown. Like literally, my
Yeah,
man didn't
to
have
be
no
down two
weapons
wide
getting open.
receivers is tough.
Yes, and two stud wide receivers at Godwin, which is a short route master. And AB, same thing with him, short route master. Like, dude, like you missing those two? Like, shoot, I don't care who you
Yes,
are, man.
that's the kind of wide receiver you need when you got so much pressure on you.
Exactly. I was just imagining that game. I was like, oh my god, man. I'm like, man, if he would have had a Godwin or AB, I'm like, dude, this would have been a like definitely a different outcome what we saw, for sure.
For sure. And I gotta say, I agree with you 100% about everything you said. There's no way that Tom Brady's going to go out where his team was shorthanded. They played so well throughout the year. I mean, honestly, they played well in the playoffs. I mean, they lost, but they came back from a 24-point deficit.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they had almost all the pieces there. I think if they can turn around and get pieces back, why not go ahead and go for it again? I mean, I know a lot of people say that sometimes quarterbacks just need to hang it up before it gets bad. I mean, Tom Brady, I mean, it's going to be a long time before he gets bad. He might as well just go ahead and
Yeah,
win another Super Bowl. And
exactly.
whenever that comes, then retire then. Because it will happen again for sure.
Exactly, man. Because like I said, I don't think it's last year, man. Like I said, the absence of Godwin and Antonio Brown, was just very huge in my opinion. So that's just a really simple one to
You're
answer
right.
on that
That
one.
was very, very big.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't know what people were talking about. He's way too competitive to go out on that. I know it.
Yeah, he
I
ain't
mean, I
going
could have
out like
seen him
that.
retiring last year. If he
Oh
didn't
yeah,
retire last year, there's no way he's retiring without a Super Bowl.
correct.
He wants
Which,
another one. There's no way he doesn't.
which they
Um,
was a not running a zero blitz away possibly for going to another championship game. Todd Bowles had to blow it though. So
yeah,
yeah, man.
you're right.
But yeah,
Yeah,
I guess now
that was really crazy to see.
for sure, man. But what's up with those? What's up with that game over the weekend? The other game, man, the Titans and Bengals, man. What's up with that, man? What you?
Titans Bengals. That was a that was a I don't know. That was a weird game to watch.
Yes, it was.
From the standpoint that it was a good game, but I think there could have been a little bit more fireworks with them. I mean, I enjoyed watching it. Uh, Joe Burrow played very, very well for to be as young as he is. Honestly, I mean, the Derrick Henry 20 carries, 62 yards and a touchdown. After you see what he's done all year, I mean, does that really impress you that much, or do you think he wasn't really as ready as people
Yeah,
thought he was coming into the
I
game?
mean, literally, if you told me that dude was out 10 weeks, I'd be like, what? Like, dude look fine to me. Like, he still look explosive and everything. Like, dude was literally playing with a metal plate in his foot. So
Metal
I'm
plate in his
like,
foot.
yeah, I
Yeah,
couldn't even
I
tell,
think
man.
I think he played really well.
Yeah, he did for sure.
Yeah, and that
AJ
Bengals
Brown
defense is
really,
good. That Bengals defense is really good.
Oh yeah, they're good. Like I said, they got a stout, D line, and secondary can be a little iffy at times, but you know, they definitely held their own a little in that game though. Um, but what was
Yeah,
really
but we'll
impressive
get
about
back
that
to what you
game.
were saying about yeah,
Oh yeah, so
AJ
yeah,
Brown.
so what I was about to say though, what was really impressive in that game though was how Joe Burrow still managed to throw for 348 yards while getting sacked 9 times. Like, what the heck?
Oh, yeah, that was that was what I was going to get at a little bit later, but we'll go ahead and get right into it. Uh, with Joe Mixon at running back, I mean, obviously he put up a decent amount of rushing yards this year. I think he was top five, if I'm remembering correctly.
Hmm.
Um, but do you think that teams are actually scared of Joe Mixon? Or
Um,
do you think that they're just going to keep rushing the passer, get the 9 sacks? I mean, they weren't worried about him running up against them.
Oh yeah, I mean he's a top. I mean honestly, he's a top 10, top. Well, yeah, I go top 10 back in the league, man. Honestly, I mean Joe, he's a pretty good running back in my opinion. But I mean, if you was like say like, okay, am I scared of Joe Mixon running the ball on me? I'd be like, not really, but still, I mean, he's still a
Yeah,
dog.
that's what I'm getting at. Is that kind of hurting them a little bit?
I mean,
Because
just a
if you
little
sit there
bit,
and
really.
you're going to look at the mhm,
I mean, just a little bit, honestly. I
just
mean,
a little
he's
bit.
still a really good back though, like for sure. You know, he can pass catch. I
Yeah,
mean,
he
pass
is very
catch,
good.
run. So
Yeah, that's for certain. But let's just jump backwards real quick into that AJ Brown. That did you see the catch that he had right there at the pylon
oh yeah, man.
for
I
the
was like,
touchdown?
wow. Yeah, I didn't think on when I was looking at it, I was like, how on earth did he catch that? I thought it was out of bounds, but I was like, wow. Baby Julio. That's who he is, man.
Yeah,
Baby
I mean
Julio.
that is exactly who he is. And Julio, I don't, I'm sure he did not hear our comments on him, but he came out and had 6 receptions for 62 yards in that game. I mean, that's
Okay, he
not prime
finally showed
Julio,
up.
but that's definitely a lot better than what we've seen him. Yeah, at
Exactly.
least he was present for the game because he had not been a lot previously. But what I was going to say about Derrick Henry too was, rushing him 20 times, him only getting 62. I mean, I'm going to say only because we know what he can do. Um,
Mhm.
but you got Donta Foreman out there that had 4 attempts, 66 yards. He had a long of 45. Um, it surprised me a little bit they didn't use him a little bit more just to throw the packages off a little bit. Because Derrick Henry averaging 3.1 yards a carry is not really normal. He only had a long of 9 yards.
Yeah.
I was thinking that they might have thrown Donta Foreman in there a little bit more just to see what would happen. I was really surprised by that.
Oh yeah, man. It was. Yeah, I did expect him to have a little bit more carries than that because I didn't really think they was gonna rush my boy Henry for 20 times. But I mean, they said it was 100% ready to go. But still, I expect a little bit
Yeah,
more out of the supporting cast as far as my running backs goes. But yeah,
yep,
it was crazy. I'm like, dang, that man got 20 touches. Sheesh.
yeah. And Ryan Tannehill, I mean, 220 yards, a touchdown, 1 sack, but the big number up there is 3 interceptions, and a couple of them when they really mattered a lot. Um, it's not that Ryan Tannehill's like a big arm that
Mm-hmm.
you sit there and you expect him to go out there and throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, but what he is known for, I would say, was being he's always there and he's always consistent. He won't lose you a game. He keeps Derrick Henry in the game. That's what he
Oh
does.
yeah, for
He
sure.
keeps the defense worried just enough to where they're not going to blitz every down.
Yep.
So then
And
Derrick
it's
Henry can go out there and make big plays. And I think that's what they were missing.
yeah, that's what the only thing that was missing because every game you watch with the Titans, you always it's always that one run. Derrick Henry breaks loose, but this game here just didn't seem to can get that one run, man, to break it. You know, which I was like, dang, man, I'm like, he's gonna break one, but he never did, man. So credit to the Bengals though for
Yeah.
stopping him.
And yeah, I mean, but usually you see, Derrick Henry at least pop off a 15 yarder like it's nothing. Um,
Yeah,
but 9 yards is a long. They say he was 100%, and he did play good. I'm not saying he did not play good. But it just looked like either the Bengals defense was really on it, or Derrick Henry just didn't have that, that little half second where he
Oh yeah,
can just get past the line without ever being compromised.
yeah, man. Because I mean,
Um,
it just really comes down to the fact, like I said, that we just got to give a lot of credit to the Bengals D line, man. Because I did think I was like, okay, my man's about to break and run. It's gonna happen any minute now, but like I said, never happened. Ever happened.
yeah, and that's a little bit on Ryan Tannehill too. I mean, he didn't do a lot for the defense to be scared of him. I mean, he was throwing picks. I mean, why not just go ahead and rush right at Henry and keep him to the 3 yards of carry?
Yeah, exactly, man. Like I said, man, that's why I was expecting to cover this game to see a lot of you know, runs obviously from Henry, but then a lot of play action, drop backs from Tannehill, keep that defense honest. But yeah, and like I said, and that is what I said too
Very true.
last week. I said Tannehill will be the downfall of this team if they were to lose, which he was with 3 interceptions.
Yeah. You, I mean, definitely weren't wrong. I mean, throwing an interception with 28 seconds left.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, it's tough.
that's tough. I mean, I know you want to go out there and win the game, but 28 seconds left and you throw an interception that ends up losing you the game. I mean, man, I could tell you, I mean, the Packers 49ers game was maybe a little bit left to be wanted on that. It was still a good game. It came right down to the wire. But when
Oh
you
yeah,
talk about the Bengals Titans game, the Chiefs Bills game, and the Bucs Rams game, that was a really, really, really good week of football that we had this past week. Man, was it good.
yeah, man. It was like I said, this is probably the best week of football like I've seen in a very, very, very long time for sure, man. Like
Yeah,
definitely a
it
lot of
was very
action.
good. For sure. I wanted to ask this too.
Mhm.
How much longer do you think the Titans have to win with Henry and Tannehill? I mean, you say like the Rams Super Bowl or bust. Obviously, that's not the case for the Titans. They're going to have this team at least 2 or 3 more years, but
Yeah,
Tannehill's getting a little older. Henry's getting a little older as far as running back age goes. He's not
yeah,
an old player, but running backs when they get up closer to 30 is typically when they peak out. How
yeah.
long do you think they have?
I mean, honestly, I feel like their window is closing. You know, I give them. I know. I mean, I really got them another three good solid 3 to 4 years, as far as their window still being open. Um, so that's why I'm on that. They're probably at least I give them 3 to 5 years. Their window is still open. For them to do something to make some noise for sure.
Yeah,
Like I said,
you're definitely right about it. I would
you
give
can always
them
be that
3.
blockbuster trade in the during the off season for a quarterback, which should put them over the top. So I'll say that there.
Yeah, yeah, that would be a crazy offense there with AJ Brown, Julio Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Derrick Henry.
Oh God, man,
Man,
jeez,
that would be an amazing lineup there.
for sure.
The defense would have it easy. They put
Yeah,
up so many
exactly.
points.
Like,
Um,
dang, I
but
don't even want to get
on,
into that
yep.
one. Dang, that's a good place for him to go. Jeez. But what was you about to say?
I was just going to go ahead and move up, talking about how long teams can be good. Talking about the Bengals. I mean, they've got Higgins, Chase, and Burrow
Mhm.
that are all very young. Mixon's still pretty young, but like I said, running backs' careers can change overnight almost, it seems like. How long do those three have a chance of being there with their careers?
Oh man, they got like plenty of years to go. I mean, hell, you got Chase and what's his name, Higgins still on rookie deals
Higgins?
for you know, and they got Boyd. I mean, still under contract. So I mean, their window is like I get them like a 5, 6 year window, man. Like, and man,
Oh,
honestly,
yeah,
once they get their
for
offensive
sure.
line solidified, like shoot, I won't want no part
Hmm.
of it, man.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, you sit there and you look at some of teams in the AFC. I mean, if you look at the Bengals, the Titans, the Bills, the Chiefs, I mean, it really wouldn't surprise me if this is the semifinal for the next 3-4 years. I mean, who else is going to get up there over the top of them?
Exactly. Like I said, this wouldn't surprise me at all. I mean, unless the Vikings or the Ravens. Well, we can't discredit the Ravens too. I mean, the Ravens. There are a
You're
few
right. You're right.
games.
You're right.
A few games from possibly that they lost. That they went for it, where they
And a
possibly
lot
be in the
less,
playoffs.
and a lot less injuries too.
Yeah. So
they dealt with a lot of injuries this year. I mean, they started out the year they didn't have J.K. Dobbins right off the bat. Lamar spent a lot of time out.
Yes.
And like you said, I mean, they went for the win. I mean, they would have an amazing record if they actually converted on half of those, but they didn't. So that's just how it goes. But yeah, I could see that those 5 teams could intermix and be the semifinal for a good long while for sure.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
But
man.
like I said last week, I came on and I said Bills Chiefs will be the game of the week. And I'm going to say I was right. I mean, they had 25 points scored in the last minute and 54 seconds. And that's got to be game of the week. And that was a really, really fun game to watch. That was intense.
Yeah. Very, man. Like I said, it played just like I thought it would play out. It'll be a shootout, and it'll probably come down at the end to a field goal or something, man. That's the only way I've pictured this game ending, really. By a field goal. Well, shootout, and the winner wins by a field goal. I didn't expect to go to OT though, but
yeah, you got one better with the Travis Kelce touchdown too to end the game.
Yeah.
But definitely what anybody was going to say for this game was whoever had the ball last won, and quite literally that's exactly what happened. The Chiefs had the ball the Chiefs had the ball 2 straight times, and that got them the win. So
I swear when Tyreek Hill scored that touchdown run, forgot like 64 yards or something. I was like, okay, this kid. I was like, dang. And then Josh Allen went down and threw a touchdown to Gabriel Dale. I was like, okay, no way they win with 13 seconds. And I was wrong. Well, tied up with 13 seconds. I was like,
yeah. That was Gabriel Davis on that play. I mean, he played outstanding no matter what, but man, was that a good move right there on the left side? He just about threw the defender without touching him.
Yeah, man. Superb move.
He played really, really good that whole game. It was very surprising that would be the guy to step up with the. I mean, if you're going to say anybody, you'd say Stephon Diggs, right?
Yeah, exactly. I was thinking Diggs or my boy Cole Beasley. Well, Diggs or Emmanuel Sanders, Knox. Like those are the guys, and Cole Beasley obviously, but he did good. Cole Beasley still, I think last night he finished second as far as yards go. So those were the guys.
6 receptions, 60 yards. That's Cole Beasley.
Yep, exactly. Slot receiver master, my boy. So yeah, man, I expected that from my boy Cole. But like I said, man.
So we sit here. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, you go ahead. What you about to say?
No, I was just gonna go start saying some crazy numbers about Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes both led their teams in rushing. They both rushed for over 60 yards, almost 70, both cases. 329 yards, 4 touchdowns for Allen, no interceptions. Patrick Mahomes, 378, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I mean, it's almost a shame that these quarterbacks are in the same conference. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's like, damn, we can't see these boys playing in the Super Bowl against each other. That'd be freaking lit. I'll go get some Super Bowl tickets for sure to go see that shit. Like, oh my god, that'd be like one of the best Super Bowls.
For sure, I mean that's almost the bad part.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm like, dang, man.
There will probably be a lot of games that are played in the AFC that determine the Super Bowl champion going forward
Yeah.
with these two quarterbacks there.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Um,
I know a lot of people say they thought this was the best game ever. I still think the best game ever had to be the Chiefs versus the Rams that year when they came to y'all.
Monday Night
That
Football, yeah.
oh my god, that game that was freaking crazy. Jesus.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this was the best game of all time.
Yeah.
That game really had all those points scored, and it came quick. That was probably the
Yes.
best game I've ever seen personally too.
Exactly.
It's really hard to top that. Really hard to top that game, but they tried. This was one to see.
Mhm.
So coming into the games, the Bills had not punted in 3 of their last 4 games. Which really just goes to show you, I mean, like last week, Josh Allen literally played like the perfect game. He had more touchdowns than incompletions.
Yep.
Every drive had a touchdown except for the one where they kneeled. Obviously, either team could have won, but do you think Josh Allen did all that he could? I mean, do you have to put it up to the defense at some point?
I mean, Josh Allen did absolutely everything he could possibly do in his human body last night to win him that game. I mean, you can't put the
Yeah.
blame on him at all. Like, dude did everything possible. I mean, you can kind of make some arguments from Coach Sean McDermott why he didn't go for it for certain period of times in the game, which I thought they should have went for it. But you can't put it like the blame. I mean, the reason they lost this game is just the defense, really, man. I mean, Josh Allen did everything he
Yeah,
could
and that was
possibly do.
and that was actually a pretty interesting thing I saw earlier today. Was Keenan Allen. I'm not sure if you saw it. He said the coin flip didn't win the game. Defenses win championships. And I thought that was actually pretty interesting take when it comes to how the game played out and what the narrative has been so far. But when we talk about that, I mean, what do you think they do to fix these playoffs? Because I also saw somebody say that because of the rules, we missed the best playoff. We missed the best game of all time. If they could have went back and forth in overtime, it easily could have been the best game ever.
That's all I'm
So what
gonna
do you think
say.
they do?
All I'm gonna say is I feel like they should go to college rules as far as the OT goes, because and then you can also make the point too. If I'm the Bills, you still gotta play defense at the end, like Travis Kelce getting open.
Yeah.
I don't know how in the heck you let that man get to the yard of the game. I would be playing the sticks the whole entire time. Like, okay, we're not gonna allow them to get in field goal range because they have Justin Tucker's son on the other team that can kick a field goal from probably 60 plus and win the game.
Yeah.
So it
Yeah.
was crazy. 13 seconds, man. 2 passes. Got in the field goal range. Shit's crazy. It's freaking crazy.
Yeah, for
man.
sure. I mean, that's what it is really crazy that they started. Mahomes got the ball from his 25 to the Bills 31 in 13 seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of that has to do with they left Kelsey so wide open for no reason. But I mean, what do you think that shows about
And honestly,
Mahomes'
I
greatness?
saw that play, is being a former football player myself, and seeing that play unfold, like I was like, okay, Kelsey's about to be wide open. Literally, the DB was giving Kelsey inside leverage the whole entire time, giving the middle of the field wide open. I was like, yeah, Kelsey's about to be wide open here. I was like, that's just like in Madden when I run a seam route. I'm throwing a dart right up the middle. Boom, easy yards right there.
And they'll be right there. Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah. But just going back to that coin flip, like you said, you played football. I played soccer. And I think the best way the college rules would be a very great step above. But the only thing about that is I don't like. Still, it's kind of about the coin flip, though. I mean, if one team has to score first, they don't score. The next team just comes out and they know they have to kick a field goal. So I mean, I still think there's a little bit of coin flip in there. What I say they do, just real quick, is in soccer they have penalty kicks. Mm-hmm. One team goes, the other team goes, and you don't do it by score. You just do it by touchdowns. So If the Bills go first, best 2 out of 3. If they score 3 touchdowns, the Chiefs score 2 touchdowns, Bills win. I think that's the best way to do it. It's the fairest because it doesn't matter about if you go. I mean, it matters a little bit if you go first or second, but not as much. You have to score more touchdowns than the other team, and it would be really quick. It would not take a really long time at all because you just do best 2 out of 3, and then it's sudden death from there on out.
Yeah,
I think that's the fairest way to do it.
yeah. I mean, I like that approach right there for sure, man. I know for sure the NFL is going to take a deep dive into this over the off season because literally everyone on social media is complaining about it. Like, so, which it is true, man. I feel
because
kind
that
of
would have
feel
been
for
crazy.
Josh Allen, bro. Like I'm sitting on the bench watching them march down the field, and I can't do a daggone thing. Just like how Patrick Mahomes felt years ago when they played the Patriots at home and watching him just march down the field. And he can literally do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, you're right. And on Josh Allen, he did everything he could because on that last drive is where like it encompassed everything that Josh Allen was the entire game. Where he had multiple plays where he forced the play to stay alive because he avoided pressure so well. I mean, because there was a lot of other quarterbacks that were playing in these playoffs, like Tannehill, Stafford, Brady. Aaron Rodgers might have been able to. I wouldn't really say Jimmy G could. I mean, really just Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Josh Allen are the only people that can do what Josh Allen did to keep that drive alive. Because if he takes 1 sack in that, I don't see how that game isn't won in regular time by the Chiefs.
Yeah, for sure. That's for sure. And not like I said, it's a lot of things you can point at the end, coaching wise. McDermott, he could have called a squib kick, run some clock out. You know, it's just a lot of things that could have went differently. If they had to do it over, they definitely would.
I do. You know, that is true. I heard them say, "Are they going to squib it here?" And I'm sure Tony Romo said that they should, and of course, he's always right. So,
man, I would have kicked that daggone football a line drive right up somebody's helmet.
Yeah, at that point, anything to get the ball out of Mahomes' hands would work better.
Yeah, for sure, man.
But that being said about Josh Allen keeping these plays alive, is he the best mobile quarterback in the league all around since he can run so well and keep himself healthy?
Yeah, I mean, I don't see anyone really being better than him right now as far as mobile quarterback goes. I mean, Deshaun Watson be another thing that comes to my mind. Name that comes to my mind, but I mean, he didn't play this year. But between Josh Allen and Deshaun Watson, I mean, those are going to be kind of your top tier mobile passers right there for sure. That comes to my mind.
Yeah, mobile passers is the better way to put that.
Because Josh Allen is pretty much, like I said, everyone. Josh Allen is basically what everyone wanted Cam Newton to be. As far as a quarterback, in my opinion.
Yeah. That's a very great point. That's a great point there. You should watch Josh Allen do some of the stuff he does. I like watching Josh Allen play just because I like to see how easy it is for him to throw the ball as hard or as far as he does. Like that 75-yard touchdown to Gabriel Davis, that looked like somebody that was throwing a 30-yard pass.
Yeah, but dude is literally like flicking the wrist, bro.
75. I mean, he doesn't even have to take like a hop step or anything. I mean, he's like, he could do that off his back foot if he wanted to, honestly, and be just as accurate.
Well, I mean, like you look at,
he can also run.
Yeah, because like you look at Brady when he throws, like that man, like he about to take everything out of him to throw the ball deep. But Allen, that man just go up right there. That man just casually flicks the wrist and the ball goes 100 yards. So it's crazy.
Yeah, Tom Brady looks like his arm might go with it one day.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you actually put that better than I did because I said best mobile quarterback, but you said like you have to throw a passer in there too because if you want to talk about straight runners, obviously you can't beat Lamar Jackson even though he has some trouble staying healthy. Yeah, but you phrased that probably better than I did for sure because Josh Allen's always avoiding the big hits. He can stay healthy, knock on wood, and then. But he can also throw the ball too, which is really crazy. But Josh Allen, to add to how he can throw the ball, he had 9 touchdown passes through the first 2 games of the postseason, and the record is 11. So had he won, he would have absolutely annihilated the postseason record, no
Yeah, it's
doubt,
just
the way
really
he's playing.
insane to even think about there, man. Like to do it against a Bill Belichick defense, and then to almost beat the Chiefs in Kansas City, with a Andy Reid led offense and Steve Spagnuolo led defense. Like it's pretty crazy, man. Pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was.
He's
And so obviously these quarterbacks played. Who was that?
Oh no, go ahead. I'll just go right ahead, man. I was just thinking something. I ain't gonna say it though.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm gonna say that one for another one there, buddy.
Oh, okay. Okay, never mind. So how much of this game is actually on the defenses? Because you look there and the quarterbacks played so good that I don't know if a defense could have stopped them, but I mean, do you place, almost, I mean, a little bit on the Bills, letting a team get down the field in 13 seconds on the defense, or is Patrick Mahomes just that way too good for a defense to do anything to
I
him
mean,
anyway?
literally, it's on the Bills' defense because, like, there's no way with 13 seconds they should get into field goal range with that bit of ease for sure. Like, how on earth? I mean, heck, I thought when they threw that route to Tyreek Hill, that first throw, I was like, man, he about to score. The way he was running, I was like, oh my God, this is really about to take this to the house. But, like, it's just no excuse for that Travis Kelsey. Like I said, the DB, he's giving him inside leverage. With, like I said, playing Madden, when I'm running a seam route, I got my slot receiver just running a seam with a safety like 20 yards off me, giving me inside leverage. I'm throwing that daggone seam route all day long, first down, bro. So I was like, yeah, that's about to be trouble, man. And it was trouble.
Yeah, it was for sure. I mean, when you watch these two quarterbacks play, I mean, it's almost like the defense isn't there. But what are they going to do? They found, because it's not like Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. They're lucky enough to where they can go to their first option every time. They can make the pocket time long enough to where they can get to their second, third, fourth progression easy.
Yep.
So I mean, it's almost like the defense can't really do a lot when those guys can sit there in the pocket for that long and not be affected by it.
Definitely agreed on
But
that. For
talking
sure.
about defenses, yeah. But how do you think this game would have been played had the Chiefs had their Honey Badger play, Tyrann Mathieu?
It would have been definitely a different outcome because, like I said, a lot of those throws that Gabriel Davis was getting were literally plays that where the free safety would have been in position. Your all-pro free safety, Tyrann Mathieu. He was catching a lot of routes that were just simply man-to-man coverage routes. Up the middle. Essentially just completely annihilating the defensive back. Just going for strays right up, throws right up the middle, man. So I mean, he paid a huge. Losing him was a huge, definitely loss for sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I would say that's almost. I mean, that was one of the bigger losses for sure. I would say defensively in the playoffs because there's not a lot of big names that were out this year in postseason that besides him really. I mean, Antonio Brown left before the season was over. Chris Godwin was gone before the season was over. So I mean, really, that's probably the biggest injury that affected the game. Obviously, the Chiefs still won, and who knows, Josh Allen might have done almost the same thing. But having that security blanket back there they have is a big deal to not have.
For sure, bro. For sure. Like I said, man, it's always when you have that. You got a stud free safety, man, and safety that knows what they're doing. It does. It does take a lot of stress off on your corners and stuff, knowing that they have that support behind them. Just like I said, you saw in the years with the Legion of Boom, man, having Earl Thomas and Cam Chancellor in the back. It's allowed Richard Sherman and the opposing quarterback to play do their thing, man. Yes, sir.
And you know what? Actually, I take that back that there was no injuries. I mean, my own Rams, we were missing Jordan Fuller and Taylor Rapp, both of our starting safeties. That's why Eric Weddle was in the game to make that crazy hit. But I mean, like I said, both teams still won. Jordan Fuller's out for the season, so he's done. But Taylor Rapp, I think he's just out for a concussion, so maybe he'll be back next week, and we can maybe get some younger players out on the field to do a little bit better.
Sure,
but
not Eric
yeah,
Weddle,
that
40-year-old.
having a good safety is a big deal.
Yeah, for sure, man. Safety is a very important, one of the most important positions on the freaking defense, bro. Like I said, they're the center fielder, man. Control them a lot back
if you try to think about great defensive players, I think a lot of the most underrated ones are safeties.
Got to be,
because they do so much. They have to blitz or tackle or cover. They have to do almost everything at like the highest level of all of them. So hopefully Taylor Rapp gets back and we can have him out there because
for sure, bro.
I think that'll help Jalen Ramsey a little bit too, because I think Jalen Ramsey might have had a little bit like, oh, I've got to do a little bit too much up here because I don't trust the safeties behind me type thing. Hopefully he's back.
For sure, bro. For sure. So, man, it looks like that was the end for today's show, man. It was definitely a great discussion today, man. For sure.
Yeah, this is a perfect time to be at right here.
Yeah, man, the best week of football I've seen in a long time, man. So yeah, man,
without a doubt,
for sure. So guys,
we started the podcast at a very good time.
Yeah, very good time, man. This is like some craziness is going on in the league, for sure.
Yes, sir.
We're seeing Matthew.
If y'all listened all the way through, go ahead. If you're gonna talk about Matthew,
go ahead. What were you gonna say?
No, I was gonna thank everybody, but if you're gonna say something nice about my quarterback, I'm gonna let you say that first.
Oh no, I didn't have nothing nice to say about him, man. Go ahead and say.
Oh, then never mind. Didn't have anything nice about him that I don't want to hear it. Now I was gonna say, if y'all, I think this is probably about the perfect length of time for podcasts. It's like that hour 15 mark is just real easy to listen to. You don't spend too little time on stuff. But if y'all listened all the way through to it, I do want to say thank you so much. Like I did at the top. Obviously we had a quick little dropout technical difficulty, but we got through it. And we'll get better with that as we go on. And if you like them maybe just a little bit longer, we only got so much to actually say, so I don't know if we can do those Joe Rogan 3-hour podcasts, but just let us know.
Leave some feedback in the comments.
Yeah, that's the big thing too. If you wanted, you don't have to go through all the trouble of emailing us if you don't want to. We're going to be posting a lot of these clips on Instagram. If you want us to do something different, want us to talk about something for the next episode, we're going to be predicting the games coming up, talking about that. So if there's something pressing you want us to talk about, something we missed, just comment in the Instagram and we'll make sure we talk about it. And that's going to be Chill V Podcast on Instagram and Chill Vibes Sports Pod at Gmail for the email.
And then, like I said, we got our YouTube channel, Chill Vibes Sports Podcast. Check the videos out. Definitely leave a like, and subscribe so we can get this channel booming, man. And like I said, leave some comments, some recommendations, and we're just looking forward to taking this channel off here this year, man. Great opportunity.
Yes, sir. Sure. It's going to be a good year. And definitely do what he said. Definitely like, definitely subscribe, definitely comment, because that's just going to make it, and more people see it. If you liked it, I would want a lot more people to listen to it too. And just give us the feedback. We're right here. Like I said, we've got the email on our phone. We got the Instagram on our phone, unlike some people that Jordan talks to. And if you want to say something, we're right there. We'll look at it, answer you, let you know right then and there.
Heck yeah. And like I said, man, with that being said, we are going to definitely, definitely look forward, seeing y'all comments and see what y'all got to say. But like I said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap this episode up tonight because we got a good one coming up on Thursday for sure that I think y'all going to want to hear for sure.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, with that being said, I hope you have a great one, and thank you for listening to the Chill Vibe Sports Podcast. Peace out.
Y'all have a good one.